In 2008, three complete strangers were put together with the hopes of creating the greatest Sony podcast ever heard. Today, unable to stop podcasting, the show survives as connoisseurs of dick and fart jokes. If you need Sony news, are not deaf, and don't want to die of boredom, maybe you can listen to BigRedBarel Blu.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 3, such a small number.
Wait, what?
Of the BigRedBarel Blu PlayStation Podcast, awkwardly named show, Niner.
Big Red Barrel Blue.
What did the Big Red Barrel blow?
Big Red Blue. I'm having a hard time talking. I've got literally a zit underneath my lip that is made my lips swollen.
Which lip?
The bottom lip, man.
Well, it matters.
Wizard sleep.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, have you popped it?
No, I haven't popped. It hurts so much. Like, I got a cold the last week and a half, and I just been trying to recover, but my face broke out. I feel like I should be on my period or something.
So we've progressed from your ass being broken out and your back being broken out. Now it's your face.
Just moving up. Just moving up the nervous system.
This should really help your game trying to get girls over the internet.
This sucks. Yeah.
This is the time to do your video blogging.
Yes.
Yeah,
we need video proof.
You need video proof of my zits? I literally have like five zits on my face right now. It's disgusting.
You sent me a website one time of really nasty zit popping videos.
Yes.
Are you on that site?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. You got bumped from the top 200.
Yeah. No, I'm not on that. But, anyways, so, yeah. And speaking of we haven't even gone through introductions yet, so go ahead. Sorry.
From San Diego, we have the Zitmeister himself, Frawlz.
Yeah, hey, what's up? God, things are just as awkward on this show as it was on the other show.
What other show was that?
Sarcastic Gamer PlayStation Podcast, a.k.a. The Blue Show.
A.k.a. Man, all I want to know is, did the contest work?
No, not yet. It hasn't worked at all, actually.
Not yet, but you're confident it will.
Well, here's the thing, though. You got to realize that the attempts that are being made are just absolutely just lame and outlandish. Like, our viewers have returned. They've gone to begging, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Well, if anyone doesn't know, Frawlz put up $50 if one of our listeners could get Amy from the internet to follow him on Twitter. And it has not worked as of yet, but it will.
You're giving her all the power. She's playing with you, and you're like, please, for the love of God, somebody out there, get her to acknowledge me. Get her to follow me. And then that just makes her thrown that much higher for her to look down at you from.
Well, whatever. Anyways, the contest is out there. And you guys are jerks. The contest is out there. It's a $50 PSN card or Xbox Live card, whichever one you want. If you could get Amy Schmidtauer from Twitter handle at SCHMITTASTIC at Schmidtastic, or just follow me at Frawlz, FRAWLZ, and you'll see her name somewhere in there of just people just begging to get her to follow. It's just not working at all.
I'm not sure if you have huge balls or really tiny balls for pulling this.
I just know that I had some bad burritos once, and I had a Schmidtauer or two.
Oh, come on, man.
It was more like a Schmidt 2 hour.
That's not how you get someone to follow you, man. You don't turn her last name into a bowel movement. That's just not right.
And a length of time. It's not just a bowel movement. She could blame her parents for that. So.
All right, well, it took an hour. So, yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Pac-Man, how's it going in Canada?
It's going good. What's going on, everybody? We tried to have a gamer night last weekend with Twisted Metal, and it's a little glitchy if you're playing, if you're just by yourself and you try to go online. But we tried to play with a party, and it was a cluster. It was basically unplayable. So I'm kind of upset that didn't go as well as I'd hoped. But other than that, I'm sort of looking at the games that are coming out, and I'm wondering, do I wait and get Mass Effect, or do I stick to my guns and pick up Syndicate? And I don't know what to do yet. But I'm sort of leaning since I don't have a lot of cash, sort of leaning towards Mass Effect, since that's going to be a longer game for my money. And Syndicate's already out, and it didn't get as high a grade as I sort of thought it would. But it's also got the whole difficulty thing, which I enjoy. It's rare to hear a game that's actually challenging. Also Oreos.
You guys and your I need you to challenge me to have fun, I swear.
Well, I just like a challenge. I find it really kind of... It's not as much fun if it's too easy.
Maybe that's Frawlz' method to his contest. It's not as much fun if it's too easy, so I'm going to set the bar incredibly high, so it'll be really, really, really fun.
Well, I mean, I just don't want a game to feel like Heavy Rain, where I'm basically just watching everything unfold.
Best movie ever.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I never looked at it that way, but maybe so. Maybe you know what? The funny thing is this is one thing people don't get about me is I'm really attracted to I'm really attracted to bartenders and waitresses for some reason. They just give you a little bit of attention and walk away. It's so annoying.
They leave you wanting more. You're like, I need more. I can get more.
They always leave you wanting more. I'm like, follow me. I mean, hang out with me.
Unlike Frawlz, that always leaves you with way more than you wanted.
Way more.
Like, wow, that guy won't go away. I could have done with about 5 seconds of him. He's been here 3 days.
I'm smothered. Already on the first date.
Hey, you know what today is?
Today, we record on Wednesday, so
it's Vita Day.
Don't remind me. All day everyone's like, hey, Pac-Man, you get your Vita yet? And I'm like, no.
Well,
I wish I did.
I got one.
Hate you.
I went at my lunch hour. Okay, and based off my PSP reference, I thought I'll go get it. It'll take me about 15 minutes to get there. I doubt there's going to be a line. Maybe 10 minutes, another 15 minutes to get back. That leaves me about 20 minutes to get sometime into the Vita, and then my lunch hour will be over and I have to go back to work. And I have very little time between work and recording, so I wanted to get some time in before we recorded. Holy crap. They pack so many agreements and so many unskippable things and tutorials and videos and fill this out and fill that out. And by the way, I'm going to be inexplicably slow and maybe corrupt the screen while you're filling this out. And then, oh, by the way, you need to update your firmware before you can do anything, but you can't do this.
Of course, Sony, why would you think you wouldn't have to update your firmware as soon as you turn it on?
I just want to know how it knew there was an update. There was no 3G connection. There was no Wi-Fi connection. Nothing, and it says you have to update.
It automatically. That's basically Sony. Whenever you turn it on, it just says you need an update, whether you need it or not. Just for giggles.
They just flip this switch, the last thing before they put it in the box. You need to update. If you don't have 3G or Wi, what would you do if you bought that and you lived in the woods? I don't even understand.
You'd probably be able to use it right away.
You go out there and you're like, I've got some gaming, and then you can't game. I'd be pissed.
You need an update.
I suppose, but I doubt woodsmen are big on the PSV.
Well, anyway, I did not get to play anything. I spent the whole time
setting it up?
Pretty much. And then there's a lot of stuff to set up. And then I was watching Twitter, and then Chubalufkus from the community is like, well, I got mine set up far enough to get on Twitter. And I thought, well, I should do that. And I added it to the Wi-Fi network here.
Yeah, because you need one more thing to be on Twitter with,
yeah,
right?
I know. And Netflix and Facebook and Flickr and all that other crap, too. But anyway, I'm sitting there, and it's
I can just see batteries running out of each device. And it's, let me go to the next one. Oh, let me go to the next one.
I've just got a stack of mobile devices. But anyway.
You have what? So far you've had... wait, hold on. So far for Netflix, this is a big point of mine, too, when it comes to why I'm not buying a Vita. So you have your phone, which has Netflix on it, right? Yes. You also have... You also have... a tablet that has Netflix on it.
Yep.
And now you have a Vita, which has Netflix on it.
And the PS3 and the 360 and the Wii and
you have Netflix basically in every room, everywhere you need to be.
Multiple times in the room. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Good. So as long as we understand this.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Go.
What was I going to say? Oh, no, I wanted to point out something pretty funny. I consider, you just pointed out how many devices I have. I'm fairly technically apt, and I'm sitting here trying to sign up for Twitter, and it says first you need to go to the website, presumably through the app, and activate this application. You'll get a PIN number. You come back here and you enter it in. Well, I'm like, okay, so I exit out of the app, go to the web browser, go to Twitter, and it just works normal. And I'm like, There's no pin. This is a web browser. How's it going to know what app to activate? So I go back to the app, and I'm reading the instructions again. And step 1 is, go to the website. Step 2 is type in your information. Step 3 is get the pin and come back. I must have spent a freaking 45 minutes trying to figure this out. And then I come back, and I accidentally bumped the screen, and I realized that it scrolled, and there was a step 4 that I was missing the whole time that said, click here to go to the website and activate. It was so unintuitive. It was so faint down at the bottom. You could barely, because it faded out, and it was over top of a white cloud, you could barely see it. I felt like an idiot sitting there wasting time going back and forth from the web browser, which...
How much time did you waste?
Well, like 45 minutes probably trying to figure out what the deal was.
And Twitter's not that important.
And it's not, which is the part that pissed me off.
It's one of those things where you're like, you want it to work and it should work and it won't work and you just can't let it go.
Yep.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Anyway, so now I can tweet from my Vita, which I probably never will.
But so have you booted up a game at all before we started recording?
Yes. I played a couple demos, and I started Uncharted, which I'm digging, even with the touch controls. Clearly, launch title, they're pushing the, these are the things that you're going to be able to do, and most of the stuff, they leave you with options to not do them. But they, in typical Uncharted fashion, they throw in some pretty funny stuff too. Like there's these relics you have to do rubbings of. You put a piece of paper over it and you rub it with a crayon or whatever. And as you're rubbing, the other character's like, hey, it looks like you've done that before. You do that often? I mean, he's making all these subtle innuendo jokes and stuff. It was pretty funny. But I dig what I've seen so far. And I like the interface, but it's just awkward enough to where I don't feel comfortable with it yet. And it's really cool to be connected to PSN all the time. I will have to see over the course of a month how I feel about paying for having 3G access to have these notifications and stuff come in. I kind of think I won't, but we'll see when a month is over. Actually, 2 months, because in order to get Super Stardust Delta, you have to buy a month, and your second month is free, and you get the voucher. And so it'll be 60 days I'll have 3G, which is a smart move on their part, but not Sony's part, it's AT&T's part, because I think they're sponsoring that whole thing. And they've got their name right there in your status bar, too. AT&T, right on your screen.
How do you feel? How does the device feel? Does it comfortable in your hands? Is it how's the battery life?
Well, I haven't even used a full charge yet. It came maybe 3/4 charged, and so I charged it. There was a little misconception from what I'd heard. You can charge the device over USB, but you can't charge it while playing over USB.
No.
But you can charge it while playing from the wall. So,
Find a wall, kids.
Yeah, I'd heard some interesting things.
You'll be there for a while.
But now that it's actually out and I've played with it, that's a little reassuring. I didn't like what I was hearing before where people said, oh no, you have to turn it off and charge it. You can't play it while you're charging.
But how are the analog sticks? Do they feel all right in your hands? Do you feel like they're cramped? Or?
Well, when I played with a demo unit in the store that wasn't on because it wasn't working, and when I used mine before I actually loaded a game, I was really concerned because, yes, they are sticks. There's 2 of them. They're analog, but they felt like as soon as you touched them, you were all the way to the left or all the way to the right. But I can say, having played Uncharted, it played just fine. I don't know whether that was the software just, giving you momentum to the sticks to make it seem right, or if the sticks are really that accurate. But, every use I've used of them so far, they felt really good, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with them.
Nice, man. See, I just want this game more and more.
And I really dug the rough aim with the sticks, fine aim with the motion sensor and Uncharted for shooting. It works. So,
are you going to pick up Escape Plan?
No, I've read some reviews on that weren't that great. Maybe if they drop the price, I might pick it up.
I don't know. It just looks cool.
My roommate has that game. My roommate has Escape Plan. I think it's very artsy, and it's a puzzle game that's I've never really seen before.
I think you've misunderstood. Your roommate has an escape plan because he's your roommate.
I'm like, why do you have a ladder outside your window all the time? No, the Escape Plan, the game is actually pretty artsy. I'm walking by, I'm like, what is this game? He's like, for someone who has a PlayStation podcast, you really know really little about the PlayStation. I'm like, shut up, dude.
Like, does that have a touchscreen?
He says it all to me all the time. And does it have a touchscreen? Is that the new Vita? And then he's got this game he's playing. It just looks fun and it looks interesting. It's a slow moving puzzle game. So, and when I say slow moving, it's very slow. Like the characters move very slow. There's a lot of interaction with the screen, the front and back, and all that stuff. So,
the best description ever.
It's fun. If you ever get to check it out, check it out. It's not for everybody, but it's definitely something that'll keep you entertained for at least a couple hours on a plane ride. So
that's about all you used your PSP for, wasn't it, Frawlz, when you were on the plane? I remember when we first started, you beat the God of War game, and then somewhere you had to go on another trip. You played the other God of War.
I tried to, but the thing, my PSP broke. The battery expanded or something. Like, nothing worked, and I tried getting another battery, and it just didn't work after that. And when I say expanded, it just got really fat. I couldn't put the back on. I don't know why or how. It's just...
It was happy to see you.
I don't know, man. It just didn't work anymore. So I just stopped playing portable gaming, and I just went to my phone.
See, I can't wait to start playing on the Vita just so I can play some of the old PSP games I have, which are great games, but my main beef with them was always, the controls sort of threw everything off. Like, going back and playing Peace Walker, gonna be awesome. Playing Killzone, gonna be awesome. Resistance, Chinatown Wars, all those games. I can't wait to play those. You know what I'm saying?
I was looking at my download list thinking I could re-download some of my PSP games. I scrolled all the way back to 2008 downloads, and it said, cannot be downloaded directly to Vita. So I don't know if I have to go through my PS3.
There's a misconception out right now. There's a list of games, PSP games, that you can download directly onto your Vita. That's not actually the full list of PSP games that will run just fine with the extra controls and everything on your Vita. So some of them you're going to have to download them to your PS3 or to your PC and then bring them over the old-fashioned way.
That figures. I haven't done that yet. I haven't had time.
Did you guys know the Michael Jackson Experience got brought over to the PS Vita?
I knew that you knew.
You know what? The Michael Jackson Experience is the best game called the Michael Jackson Experience. So
that is true. All right. Can we get a Wii, by the way? Can we get this? I want a Wii, man. You haven't had a Wii in forever, and I requested one through email, and I feel like we're not,
That's like a throwback Wii.
Yeah.
I know. Kind of felt like back in the day.
Well, I suppose we should get to our agenda, huh?
I suppose.
Agenda. It's pretty PSV packed, but the first part's not. So let's see what we got here in no particular
order. There's no rumors either, though, which is kind of nice.
That was not me skimping. There just simply weren't any rumors, and I didn't feel up to making any up, which I don't like to do anyway. I may have done it once in the previous 170-some episodes. But anyway, it looks like we were talking about this last week. The Last Guardian, Sony is still saying that game is in the works. Now we learn they've actually got people from Santa Monica Studios as well as people from their UK studios, they didn't list which ones, helping out to finish this game.
Wow.
They
really got stuck in the mud, huh?
It's like, no, this game's still totally being developed. Where the head guy's still totally on it. This game's it's coming out, hasn't been canceled. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, we brought in the best people we have everywhere to help finish this game. And suddenly,
everywhere.
Suddenly, it goes from a statement of confidence to a statement of, we're trying to salvage this crap, get it done. So,
but at least Santa Monica Studios has a reasonably good rep.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think
you're bringing more people on now. It's going to turn into like a Duke Nukem of friggin'.
Yeah, but it's also not uncommon at all to have a game being developed on multiple continents at the same time. I mean, lots of games do it.
Yeah, it just seems like they're stuck in the mud. Now they're bringing someone else over.
The Naughty Dog guys helped out Guerrilla with the Killzone games.
Yep.
So it has happened.
Yeah,
before
but only certain aspects of it. They went over and did some research with them. Like, they didn't bring people over to finish the game for them.
Well, I mean, we don't know that that's exactly what's happening here, and we don't know the extent of how it happened then. They were sharing tech and helping them out.
Yeah, but I mean, just the idea of having multiple people involved, it just depends on how well they all communicate. Because being in different locations itself isn't the problem. It's the different ways different companies work together that's the problem. I still want The Last Guardian.
Well, you're probably going to get it. What I'm a little concerned about, though, before we leave this topic, is his previous games. I mean, I really liked Shadow of the Colossus. I'm not sure how much it taxed the PS2, but I'm wondering what kind of help he really needs with The Last Guardian. Is it because he's trying to pull too much out of the system? He needs help getting it done? Or, what is the
maybe
hold
there's
up
other
here?
Guardians they didn't take into account.
What's that?
maybe he didn't take into account the other Guardians. There's more.
I need you guys to kill this Guardian so I can work on the last one.
I don't know. It could be anything, really. I mean, he might have just fed his gremlins after midnight or something. Who knows?
Oh, I hate that. All right, the next topic. Kojima Productions is planning to open a studio in California, possibly San Diego, Frawlz. I don't know. If they could find the right people, which probably means not San Diego. But
which doesn't mean me, obviously.
And they also are enhancing their Fox engine. And this was part of this news, but to me it seemed like almost a confirmation when we haven't necessarily for sure had a confirmation that there will be another Metal Gear Solid. I mean, he's talked about wanting to do it, but now he's basically saying, yeah, we're going to put a studio in California if we can find the right people so we can work on the next update to Fox Engine. And by the way, the next Metal Gear Solid, I mean, he mentioned Solid right there, they did, will be on high-end consoles and PC, which at the rate they develop games is not the 360 and PS3 and Wii or even Wii U. It's probably the next Microsoft, next Sony console, and then high-end PCs.
And that's all good news?
In probably 2020.
I mean, there's especially among Japanese developers, there's a big shift I don't know if they want to westernize, but to be a lot more connected into the Western market and vice versa.
Well, I think Metal Gear Solid 4 was on the forefront of that movement, and
I mean they're basically the kingpins of selling, traditionally Japanese game to the West. To
their credit, that game rocked. I mean, fully.
And just so you know, this just in, Facebook is now available for the Vita, so you can go download that.
That's not shocking.
All right, just saying.
Hey, do you guys know how to post videos to Facebook?
You guys know how to post videos to Facebook?
I drive my family crazy with that damn commercial.
Oh my god, I do that all day long at work, and it's an AT&T commercial. It's hilarious. You guys know how to post videos to Facebook? You guys know how to post videos to Facebook?
Whoever came up with that was a good commercial because it got people annoying other people. Anyway, moving on. Sony has filed patent paperwork on a, quote, real-time three-dimensional interactive environment using a depth-sensing device. Frawlz, didn't you have one of those?
I still do.
Okay. Let me give you a real-time three-dimensional interactive environment with my depth-sensing device.
It only goes 3 inches.
I gotta remember that line. That seems like a really good pickup line. Actually, I don't need it, though.
Yeah, you're going to need that now that you're engaged. So.
I might try it out tonight.
Your future wife is listening to this right now. You writing down pickup lines.
Alrighty.
That's all. Someone had a little slip.
Anyway, Dr. Richard
Next time having sex with a hooker.
God. The guy behind the iToy and PlayStation Eye filed this patent paperwork. And basically, I mean, that sounds generally like the description for Kinect. And I thought it was interesting because, when Kinect came out and when PlayStation Move was being touted, they actually said that they worked with the tech from the company that Microsoft bought the tech for Kinect with. And they didn't feel that it was right at the time because, well, mainly they felt that there needed to be buttons involved still for their gaming aspects. But I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to see patents come out like this. Do you guys think that going to the next generation of PlayStation, there's going to be some sort of built-in? I mean, it's almost a given that the next Xbox will have Kinect built in. It won't be optional. It'll come with all of them, I bet. Do you think Sony's going to go that way, Pac-Man?
Yeah, I do. They're definitely going to add something. But the other thing is with these patents is sometimes what they're doing with these patent purchases and registrations is just covering all their bases. Just if they decided to, they could.
You have an opinion about the submarine patents, don't you?
The submarine patent.
Didn't you've bitched about those before, where these companies file patents just to sue with later?
Oh, well, I didn't know they really had a name for it, but yeah, it's annoying when they start filing patents just to file patents.
But I mean,
which I get.
Don't all the big companies they expand their patent portfolio? I mean, the huge companies, Microsoft, Google, Apple, they all do it.
I think they should have like a 3-year rule on these patents. Like, you file a patent and you don't do anything with it, you should definitely get rid of it. Like, you should not be allowed to have it after 3 years. You can't just file something and just leave it there.
Mr. Frawley, we need your penis now.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard that before in the last hour. It's been used for many things.
It's a 3-year rule. Sorry. Nothing personal.
3-year rule?
Yeah.
Nice. Anyways, so yeah, my penis.
You sexist pig. All right. Mass Effect 3 is available on PSN day and date with the physical copies at the store, but not on games on demand on the 360.
Oh, what's up, 360? What's up? Not only that, but you can pre-order it and get some, basically the same kind of pre-order extras that you would get if you pre-ordered at a brick and mortar store.
He just said pre-order like 3 times in a row.
The only bad thing about Mass Effect 3 is, and I hate to say it, I got the first 2 Mass Effects on the 360, and I kind of want to get the third one on the 360 too to continue over my saves and all that stuff.
Okay. Well, no one's stopping you.
But it is pretty friggin' awesome that it's coming on the PSN day one. You know what? And I want them to do that more. Because didn't they do that with Infamous as well?
Infamous 2 was day and date, yes.
Yeah, I like that. Because, not only that, but you and I both took advantage of that same day.
Oh, I absolutely bought it. I prefer, if I have the choice, just choose the game from a menu and go.
Hells yeah.
That said, all the Vita titles I bought, I bought physical copies of, because everybody, Amazon, Target, Best Buy, GameStop, all of them are having a buy 2 get 1 free sale right now, which I thought was hilarious, because that really does entice you to buy physical right up front, and then you don't have to get the giant memory card, and then you kind of forget that you were bitching about it to begin with.
Yeah, when I get my Vita, I'm still not buying cartridges unless I get it as a review copy or a present.
There you go.
Straight up.
All right. Well, you heard it first.
I have some exciting news from the next topic on the agenda.
You're pregnant.
I am pregnant. No, I'm not pregnant. I had my tubes tied. Ready at Dawn. I did not have my tubes tied. That is the female description.
Wait, you had your
You got snipped?
It would be snipped if it was a guy. Yes.
Your balls are no longer attached to you anymore. They're just kind of floating around.
They're just floating, freeballing. Yeah.
Freeballing. Is that the term for it? Freeballing?
No, that's not the term for it. Freeballing is the same as going commando. They would rot if they were absolutely disconnected. That would be so foul.
When did you have it done? Did you have it done recently? Like, how long ago?
What are you talking about? I didn't have anything done.
Your balls snipped.
I did not.
When did you get neutered?
I did not.
Your balls are okay.
They're just fine.
They're attached to you fully, and you can ejaculate just fine with semen and everything.
Are you making plans? What's going on here?
I'm just trying to figure out like what your future plans are. You're getting married, man. You might want to like.
Well, I guarantee you popping up more youngsters isn't high on the agenda.
Yeah, but I could whip up some clam chowder for you, Frawlz. God. Can we get back to this exciting news that has nothing to do with my testicles?
Exciting news. Ready at Dawn.
Ready at Dawn is working on a new game for a next-gen system, according to a job listing that said, quote, "Are you ready to work on an exciting new AAA IP for a next-generation home console game system?" And then you're supposed to say yes and apply and have talent.
Then you're supposed to say, yeah! Like the kids going for Sunny D or something.
So, Ready at Dawn, Frawlz, you know their games well because they did God of War.
The only games you ever played on your PSP.
Sparta, God of War, Chains of Olympus, and Daxter. Those were like the top tier PSP games. I mean, they were amongst the best. And while they didn't say what platform they're working on, they have a really strong relationship with Sony. So it's a strong but not sure bet that they're working on a PS4 game right now. New IP. So
Wicked. Because you know what? Everything they did has been pretty gravy.
I would not be surprised if they are on the let's acquire them list for Sony. But I think that would be a smart move.
Be smart, man.
And Sony is just, rocking hard with the exclusive titles they're still able to put out.
Yep. All right, let's see. And then the last tidbit of non-PSV news, Jack Tretton says about an E3 announcement of the PlayStation 4. He says, "I, quite frankly, would be very distracted if I had to be talking about the next generation hardware this year. Right now we're focused on the PlayStation 3, and I've got the PSV to get out the door in 7 days," so apparently this was a week ago or so. "So I don't even want to be thinking about trying to launch new technology anytime soon." So,
which makes sense.
In your face. They're going to stop. I mean, they're going to focus on the PS3 and the PSV, and the PS4 will be next year probably, at the soonest. So, anyway, moving on to Vita news that we haven't already covered.
Well, I got a question about the PS4 real quick. What do you guys think they're going to continue with Move? Or do you think that's dead now?
No, I think that there will be a continuation of that technology. I think that Move as it is now will continue to work, but I would think, like Pac-Man said with the 360, that whatever comes out next is going to have some superset of those features, but hopefully it will be there from launch, so there's none of this fragmentation of, not everybody has this, so we're only writing these games for a third of the potential audience, and we're not going to put much money into it. If they're going to do it, it needs to be a solid tech that they're 100% behind. And
I agree.
So I hope that they do something. And I hope that it's in all of them, and I hope they do it from the get-go, because we've seen with the PS3 in many examples what happens when there's something that they want that they didn't start with. There's always consequences. You look at trophies, you look at PSN itself. It's made leaps and bounds of improvement, but it was not anywhere where it needed to be when the system launched. And
it's a lot harder to fix things once it's been launched than it is before.
Party chat. Anyway,
does anybody know how to post videos to Facebook?
I do. But don't use Taco Bell's free Vita every 15 minutes contest as an example.
Because you'll win, and then you won't win, and then you'll be able to win again, but you probably won't.
Yeah. So I am guilty. I like Taco Bell. We've talked about this. We talked about the contest before, but it's a really popular contest. You go get the $5 box at Taco Bell, and you get a code, you text it in, you have a chance to win. Somebody figured out something sneaky about the system on the other end, and a lot of people were somehow erroneously or fraudulently or completely unwittingly getting messages through their website that they had won a Vita. They were excited. They were telling their friends, posting videos to Facebook, and only to find out they didn't really win. And then the content, I don't know. I mean, if they're giving away one every 15 minutes, that's a lot.
Yeah, a crap ton.
That's like 100 a day almost, give or take a handful. I don't know anyone on all the people that post on Twitter that I follow. I've never seen anybody on there say, I want a Vita from Taco Bell, and I have it. So I don't know where these are going.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody who won anything from Taco Bell and said they have it.
Well, Dave and Godfrey from Gamertag Radio won Connects, and maybe even Esme won a Connect from Burger King. I mean, that was weird how many people I knew that won those. And now
they don't use refried beans as glue.
But I mean, the worst thing is that they've been just sort of dicking them around for the last 3 weeks that this has been going around.
Yeah, and it's the company implementing the contest more than Sony. And now they're saying, "Hey guys, that we told you that you won, and then we told you that we didn't win. We're going to have this little side contest or drawing or whatever of all the people that thought they won that really didn't win, and a couple of you might win again."
But most of you will just win. We'll just win and then lose twice.
Yeah, so get your hopes up, let them down, get them up a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean they should just send like a trained monkey to all their houses, just have them kick them in the nuts.
They should at least get a few $5 boxes for free. But
I want to train that monkey.
Anyway, that contest could have gone better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know other contests that could have gone better.
Yeah. Frawlz, you working at Taco Bell?
No.
All right, so let's see what else we have here. A lot of people are bitching. The Vita just launched today. You can tell how many people didn't really pay attention to it for the last year or whatever that we knew about it. They're upset that they can't use their UMDs from the PSP.
How did you get a PSV and not know that had already?
Well, no, they're not the ones that got the PSV. They're the ones that are like, oh, the PSV's out. I should probably read this article on Kotaku. What? There's no UMD drive?
Man, I have no sympathy for uninformed consumers anymore.
So Sony's addressing it, and it's one of these comments where, at first glance, you're like, they really said that? But if you listen to the logic behind it, and not just the pull quote that all the headlines are going with, Sony said there wasn't enough demand for a UMD passport program in the U.S., and people are starting to get upset. But what they need to understand was Sony didn't hide some secret survey on some weird website saying, do you want a UMD passport program in the U.S.? What they did is they looked at how many people were buying UMD-based games for the PSP. And in Japan, they're still selling like crazy. That's why the numbers are higher than the PSV right now. In the U.S., Nobody's buying PSP games. Nobody's making PSP games hardly, and certainly not many people are selling them. So that's the demand. It had cut off because piracy was rampant over here, and people were just spending their money on other stuff. Now, the other thing that other people don't realize is even if they had done the UMD passport program, it's not like you say, look, I've got the game, can I have the digital copy? It's like you save 25% or whatever. So instead of dropping your $20, you're dropping 15 on your game. That would still piss you off. If you fully knew what you were getting pissed off over, you would realize there's no sense getting pissed off, because if you got what you were bitching about not getting, you'd still be pissed off.
So basically what you're saying is you're pissed off no matter what.
Yeah, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're 6 months late. You don't want what you think you want, because if you had it, you wouldn't want it anyway. So keep your PSP.
That's a good write that down as a pickup line too.
Play your PSP games on your PSP, and get a PSV and play the PSV games on it. So anyway, speaking of Twitter, we weren't talking about Twitter, but let's pretend we were. The European PS blog says downloadable PS1 classics will be compatible with the PSV soon after launch. That's a quote. I don't know what soon means, but I would expect...
It seems weird that of all things, wasn't even ready at launch.
I think it was probably a low priority because, quite similarly, people are bitching about, I can't play my PS1 games. Okay, you got a PSV, you dropped $250, $300. You really going to go home and play 10-year-old games? Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, it's true.
In the grand scheme of things, it's going to come. It came to the PSP. You're going to get it. Your games you already purchased, you don't have to repurchase them, so just focus on the new stuff for a little bit.
I gotta say, I am glad that I went to the PSP Go, because it means that the bulk of my collection is already digital.
Already digital, yep. Speaking of digital, there's a little... this is kind of interesting. Uncharted Golden Abyss has DLC, but it's not DLC that we're used to. They are releasing a treasure hunters map. Actually, maybe it's in multiple parts of DLC, but you can buy maps that show you where the in-game treasures are to help you find them. It doesn't give you the treasures, it just tells you where they are. But you have to buy this.
But who's the idiot that buys this when you can just look online?
People are lazy as
It seems like, every site that would normally have a how-to or, where to find these things is still going to have it. You can still break out of the game, hit up the web browser on the PSP and or a PC or whatever.
But what's the difference between that and buying a hint guide, though? I mean, you go to GameStop and there's a game, do you want to buy the hint guide for? It
would be like buying a hint guide chapter by chapter, maybe. It's because they're breaking it up.
I have a feeling this would turn out to be more expensive than an actual paper hint guide would, though.
I just found it pretty funny.
How much does it cost?
I don't know what the cost is on the DLC. I literally have had very little time.
$10,000 million.
I'm pretty sure that's about what it is.
That's a lot.
Hey, you know what I did notice when I was thumbing through the PlayStation Store on the Vita is that there were a lot of demos, and I wanted to commend, if anybody out there works at a developer that put out a demo day one, thank you. I think you all should always put out demos.
Nice.
All right.
So, anyway.
Note taken.
Let's see what we've got here. The guys at iFixit.com, the ones that every time some new device comes out, they take it apart, estimate how much it costs to make, so you can see how much profit the company's making from each device. They gave the PlayStation Vita an 8 out of 10 in repairability, which means it's very modular, and despite the fact that you're going to need a custom screwdriver to get in there, which is no big deal. I mean, it's usually $10 or $15 on some site, give them a week and you'll be able to get it. Everything about it, including the battery, seems to be very modular and easily replaceable. So it's not like, oh, my battery died after 2 years, I gotta get a new Vita or send it in. Probably somebody's going to come out with a battery that's completely compatible. You buy a screwdriver probably as a kit with the battery, and you'll be able to replace it. So that's
nice.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
Yep. Let's see. We are running long. I do want to point out Sony says they have no intention of PS2 or PS3 games running on the Vita. You got PS1, PlayStation
that's
Mini.
Ridiculous. PS2 games can run damn well perfectly fine on the PlayStation Vita. That's nonsense.
Well, they don't have intentions now.
But they're gonna. The only reason they don't is because they're still selling PlayStation 2s.
Yep.
And that's the only real reason. So, I don't know. I don't want to take away from anyone who's still playing PlayStation 2 games, because they are still fun, and not everyone can afford PlayStation 3 everywhere in the world.
Okay, and before we get to the shout-outs, I have a tip for anybody that bought a PSV today and hasn't read it on another site.
Wait, bought a what?
A PSV?
Oh, okay. I thought you said PSP.
Maybe I did. I don't know. It's got buttons. It says Sony on it. When you're in the menus, there's this music that sounds cool for about 5 seconds, and then it becomes excruciatingly annoying. It's not super intuitive how to turn it off. So rather than just turning the volume down, I will tell you how to turn it off. You go to the green settings menu, you go to sound and display, and uncheck system music, and then you can have your sanity back.
That sounds really hard to find.
Well, I'll tell you, I've used a PSP and a PlayStation 3 for going on 6 years now, and it was quite a different interface. There's a lot of buttons to click on and menus that pop up, and it's just laid out completely differently. It's nice to know from the main screen how to get to that music to turn it off, because it's like a 30-second loop that just, you can feel your blood pressure going up. So, anyway, that is our episode 3. We got to get to the shout-outs, which I don't have many of.
There's no rumors!
There's no rumors. It's not my fault. I want to give a shout-out to VC Sabertooth. A shout-out to Zoltron, Grim680, Cool Jacket Man, and Frawlz' mom.
My mom
listens
to this show.
I know she does. I insert special topics from time to time for your mom. Let's just put it that way.
3 inches deep. All right. So, I want to give a special thanks to and shout out to the lovely and talented Dane WW from the U.S.
He doesn't like me.
I know he doesn't. Here's the thing. He stopped listening. So he got a shout out. And mostly he stopped listening because of the air horn, and he said the same joke run 4 times in a row was not funny. So 5. That now counting 5. So sorry, man. I know you're probably not going to listen to this because you stopped listening. You have listened since episode 20. It sucks to have you leave.
I'm sorry
if we offended you.
I'm okay with it.
He's okay. I'm not. I like having an extra listener every once in a while. Makes things interesting. Anywho's, also want to give
Monkey Please Go
special thanks and shout out to Amy Schmidauer over at Schmitastic at Savvy Sexy Social, Sexy Savvy Social or something like. Check out her Twitter page.
How many sexies was that?
She is putting up with you guys, and she's putting up with everybody tweeting her, trying to get her to follow me. Don't stop. Just start getting creative. Like,
did you just
really
use the word
stop
sexy?
Begging. Savvy Sexy Social.
Is that her term or yours?
It's her term.
Okay. Hey, just out of curiosity, what type of genitalia does she have?
Female.
What's the name for that?
From what I'm aware of. Savvy, Sexy, Social.
That's not what they're called.
What are you talking about?
Never mind. The joke is not worth it.
You're trying to get me to be like Pac-Man and offend one listener. The listener. We're not supposed to talk about that. Dave told us not to talk about this, and Pac-Man was supposed to apologize.
He took care of it the way he needed to.
Over Twitter.
That's fine. That's how she complained.
Oh, no, I thought she complained through email.
No, it was Twitter.
No, we were just informed. Anyway, I like to give a shout out to Corey was here 1212, and shout out goes out to Aiden Fehr, Fehr. I think it's Aiden Fair. I'm going to assume it's that way, and if I'm wrong, it won't matter because he'll never be on the show unless he is somehow joins the staff and ends up on the show, and then I'll look really silly. Anyway, this weekend, rather than have another Twisted Metal Gamer Night, because that went so silly last weekend.
I love that advert.
We have the Starhawk Beta is now open to everybody. So grab the Starhawk Beta. If you're connected to the internet and you got a PS3, you can get in the Starhawk Beta, and that's what we're going to do this Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, until we can't play anymore. And it will definitely be on the dynamic calendar. The only thing about the dynamic calendar on the front page of Big Red Barrel is, for whatever reason, for right now, it shows the time in GMT. So just when you click on the entry in the calendar, I'll list the time zone in Eastern Standard Time as well.
All right, let's get to the bonus content, which we have. If you have the podcast app, I don't know the status of, so we'll pretend everything's fine.
Yeah, we'll pretend
you bought this 4 months ago.
If you do hear this bonus content, you got to let us know.
Yes. Actually, yeah. If you hear the bonus content, we will give you a code word. You need to tweet it to our personal Twitter accounts. Frawlz will give you $50.
I will not give you $50. Don't. No, you know what? I'm going to give you a Big Red Barrel T-shirt.
Oh, that's just as bad.
I know, they don't exist.
God. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Stay Frawlz,
Frawlz in your mouth.
New Blue Show. It's not the old Blue Show. Old Blue Show. New Blue Show. New Blue Show. Show. It's not the old Blue Show. Old Blue Show. New Blue Show. New Blue Show.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcast, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.